a very dirty and well-used WPC PowerDriver board from a Popeye, and it had some issues with the GI. This pin 1 was burnt completely out, so I used a rivet to repair that through hole, and this connector on the GI was a total disaster, so I had to use a total of 4 rivets on this one to get this corrected. Something I often see is when other people have been working on these is you can see there are 2 traces behind here. Those come onto this connector through the top of the board, and then they go through the through hole to the back of the board and connect to the J121. Those through holes were pulled, so I've corrected that also. The cap that frequently leaks, C2 replaced, C4 indicted and resets replaced, C5 indicted and resets replaced, all the power headers also indicted and resets replaced, including the 12-volt unregulated header, all the GI, and most importantly, this power out has been replaced. It's dirty, but it's going to clean up nice once I get it outside. We are in the midst of running the solenoid test, so we will let that complete. Popeye saves the earth. That game really never got much I guess attention or whatever. Oh, here we've got an issue. I'm dimming all the strings, and all of them are dimming except the blue one. Now, why would the blue one not be dimming? The blue one is fused by F106. I suspect it is going to be this triac. Somebody had replaced the triac, and maybe it's not the right triac, or maybe the 2N5401 that's in there is inoperative, but we will get to the bottom of that. We have no dimming. Interesting. All right, let's get to lamps and flashers. And there are all 12 flashers that are tested with the WPC DMD test ROM, and all the lamps are operating correctly also. So that's all the tests. Now let's come back to this GI issue we've got here, and I'm gonna have to get to the bench and read some schematics to check that out. Back on the bench now, and I found the problem fairly quickly. When somebody replaced this triac, and they did use the correct part. Triacs never fail. In all the years I've been repairing boards, those BT138E, I believe it is the part number, I have seen exactly 1 fail. So if you have a failure with your GI, it's most likely going to be a fuse to start with, or burned headers. The triacs, like I said, never fail. In fact, I've never really seen these 2N5401s that are used to turn the triac on and off. I've never seen any of those fail either. I have seen U1 fail periodically, but that's once in a blue moon. And U1, by the way, drives the general illumination. So we're back in GI test, and you can see right away that we have that blue string operating per normal function. So outstanding. I doubt that the owner of the Popeye, and this is a new Popeye owner, but the prior Popeye owner probably never even noticed that that GI string was not operating correctly. And in fact, what it did is the jumper that whoever repaired it put on there had burned the trace between the triac and the header, and I have I put a new jumper on there with solid core wire that'll operate much better. So this one out to the garage or driveway to wash this thing down, and then slap a tag on it, let it dry out, out in the sun, and then get it back to Popeye.